All right, good afternoon. My name is Gabriel Sterling. I'm the Voting System Implementation Manager for the state of Georgia. Here to give our afternoon update where we stand on a few items. First out of the gate, we've already transmitted the information to Washington, D.C. to allow for the swearing in of Congressman-elect Kwanzaa Halls to finish up the term of John Lewis. Not sure the time when that'll happen, but I know that they're anxious to get it done as quickly as possible. On the recount side, 132 counties have completed their work. Leave us 27 to go. One of the issues we've run into, and I mentioned this as a possibility, that they've handled these ballots so many times back and forth. There are 4 different styles of ballots. There are provisional ballots, absentee by mail, early vote in person, and election day. Those are the 4 types. So to divide them up, you have to have different tabulators. Now, one of the issues you have is that provisionals and absentees are on the same ballot items. They're on hand-marked paper ballots, and advanced in person and election day are on BMDs. Those are the ballots of the 8.5 by 11s with the QR codes on them. There's no way to look at the ballot itself and know which one it is unless you've done a very good job keeping track of which batches they were in. A couple of counties might have gotten those mixed up, and they're trying to get that straight. The good part is it does not affect precinct-based reporting for those items. And I know that Fruitland and Wilkinson are 2 counties that specifically had an issue, and they're trying to go through and rescan the batches and put them in essentially the proper buckets. But the bottom line is, so far, of the 132 that we've reviewed, there's no substantive changes. The outcome remains the same. Of the 27 counties, as you'd anticipate, they're the larger counties that have some of those issues. One of the things I did say earlier, there was an executive decision made around 2 o'clock. We realized in the ridiculous, crazed environment we're in, if we put out the election night reporting for the recount, guess what? The small counties are done first. So what does that mean if we made that live? President Trump would have a big lead. And they would say, oh, look, it's happening again. Yes, it's happening again because it's basically you're watching a repeat of the same movie. So there's not a conspiracy again. There's the ballots what you need to do to compare these. You want to go look at the original November 3rd election night reporting and compare county by county to the reporting you're going to see for the recount election night reporting. That's where you're going to look for the variabilities. If you can see anything that might be slightly different, and look for those counties that may need to recertify. I don't have an idea of how many of those are yet. I do know it's more than a handful, where there's been a few changes here and there, again, likely because of adjudication. So we are probably going to launch that, but now I've had this explanation, we'll probably launch it not too long after we leave this press conference. I know that's not going to affect some people's view. They're going to go on Twitter and say, look, it's happening again, they're stealing the election, and whatever other crazy thing they want to say. As far as the January 5th election goes, a question was asked earlier as to where the cards came from for Senator Raffensperger's son, who had passed away in 2018. That was, in fact, the New Georgia Project that's associated with former gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams. And that's just want to answer that question real quick. And as far as the online absentee ballot request portal, we've gotten in 343,923 requests so far. And of those, there's about 41,000 that are pending on the dashboard. That means that the counties have been fulfilling over 300,000 ballots themselves. The state has mailed out, in conjunction with Gwinnett and DeKalb, over 604,000. So we have over 900,000 of the ballots that have already been issued. So the total amounts that have been requested, all in, including everything on the dashboard, is 997,195. So that means that we're going to be through the million mark tomorrow, still essentially nearly a month out from the election. So that's pretty impressive use of the tools that the Secretary has put in place to make voting safe, secure, and easy for everyone. Next thing, I think most of y'all are familiar with the fact that attorneys Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell had a little get together in Alpharetta this afternoon. Lynn Wood, pacing across the stage, said, we're not going to vote for these machines, not using machines to vote. And, we shouldn't go out and vote for Senator Loeffler in Purdue. And I find it interesting that somebody who's had a Democrat voting record since 2004 is out there telling Republicans not to vote in an election. We encourage all voters to vote in an election. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green, Socialist, Libertarian, whatever party you want to be, go out and exercise your vote as your right as an American. Another thing that Sidney Powell then said was that the algorithm absolutely switched votes in Georgia. Not true. We did, again, I'm going to remind everybody, we did a hand audit that human beings did. No machines were used. And in fact, somebody asked Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell, the hand audit said this, how do you know, how can your algorithm thing have worked? And they said, no, that wasn't a hand audit. They used the machines to count those. They lied to the people who are believing their face. It's this kind of lying and this kind of rhetoric that is continuing to inflame passions on the ground unnecessarily, and it's wrong. So with that, I want to go ahead and just take any questions you all might have. Yes, sir. I mean, what happens is they put them into the election night reporting system, we look them over, then we upload them. So when we launch this in about probably 20 minutes or so, you'll see those 132 or so will be on there immediately. And then as the counties continue to upload them throughout the evening, we will continue to upload them. We'll probably send our employee who does that home. He had a very long night last night. And I hate, this is going to seem like I'm just piling on at this point. He couldn't get out of here till 12:15 because for the special election in District 5, Fulton County had to send 2 employees out to find 2 memory cards they had left behind. So again, we see the same kind of issues that come out on those things, and it caused our staff to have to stay late. So we're trying to let them go home and get some rest and do some work remotely to do those final uploads. So it should be through the night, and if there's a couple of counties that lag, if they're tired, the work's getting done. It'll be done by tomorrow. They're all going to meet the deadlines of recertifying by Friday, and then the state will meet its deadline of recertifying by Friday afternoon. Then the governor will do the ascertainment and send the paperwork back up to D.C. Here's the thing, I can't make the case. There's one particular county that's always last. I don't have to say it. You know I don't have to say it, but there's always going to be one. So, what else we got?
Yeah. The number of ballots that have been re-adjudicated as part of this recount, do you have an exact number for the state, and how might that affect either way?
I do not have that number, and it would be kept at the county level. I don't think we have a generalized report for that, but it's probably a good thing we'll probably have to get. What else we got? All right. These things are getting shorter and shorter. I like it, but I appreciate it. Sorry I didn't have as much bombast today, but I'm kind of happy I didn't have to. Yeah.
There's a lawsuit that was dropped today by Black Voters Matter. Over about 200,000 voters that were purged. Do your office have any comments on that?
You know, Justin from WSB asked about that earlier, and frankly, it dropped off my radar screen because I'm on the legal team. Again, I'll say the same thing I said before. We follow the law, the federal and state laws on when we do the list maintenance that is necessary to keep the voter rolls clean and protect the sanctity and security of the vote. Thanks.